Okay guys, couple days ago I've bought myself a Stalingrad and I absolutely fell in love with that ship. I've never had this much fun playing big cruiser, I think ever. Something comparable to that experience was when on release Petro, I think. So what makes Stalingrad so special, why I love it so much, what are the drawbacks of playing it, how should we build it, and well, how should one play it, and also for who this ship is actually the best for. These are the questions that I'm gonna answer in this video, so stay tuned and let's go. Okay, let's talk about what exactly is Stalingrad. Stalingrad is a big Soviet super cruiser on tier 10 that can purchase an armory for 28,000 steel. It has amazing firepower, borderline battleship level, and is very precise at supporting its team. But it might not be a ship for everyone. So what are the strengths of Stalingrad? Well, first of all, Stalingrad is known for its guns. The ship carries 3x3 305mm guns with insane penetration, upgraded AP angles, and highest sigma in the game, meaning that the shells are almost always landing in the middle of the aiming circle, allowing you to hit shots that other ships would never be able. This battle cruiser has an armor scheme that is very similar to battleships, allowing you to tank huge amounts of shells coming your way. Your 12-kilometer radar, that's kinda standard for Soviet cruisers, is also very good for spotting destroyers. Pair that up with a pretty decent AEG and you get something that can punish destroyers for overextending. But everything comes at a price. First of all, since you're the size of a battleship, you turn like a battleship as well. What comes in par with size is also the concealment, which is also pretty poor. Lack of torpedoes means that if you're getting rushed by somebody with a couple brain cells, you might get yourself traded off very easily. Also, your citadel is very weak when you're broadside. On top of all of that, Stalingrad burns exactly like a battleship, but you don't have DCP of a battleship, meaning that you take fire damage. You basically burn like a marshmallow. Okay, so knowing all the strengths and weaknesses, we want to use our build to counter the weaknesses and to the maximum potential extend our strengths. So what we want to do is get ourselves perks like Superintendent, Heavy AP, Top Grade Gunner, Concealment, kinda standard builds like for the Petrol army. You can actually use the Kuznetsov on Petro and on Stalingrad with the same build, no problem. For upgrades, you want to use the recommended ones, except for one slot, the slot 4. You want to use the propulsion mod, as it helps you dodge incoming torpedoes and incoming shells much easier than you would get the value of minus 15% fire duration. Do not ever think of using any other module on slot 6 than the reload mode, ever, okay? On slot 2, you are almost mandatory to use the surveillance radar mod. And when playing Stalingrad, you kinda don't get the excuse of trying to be free to play, because you just spent 28,000 steel on this battleship-like cruiser, so I think that little bit extra in coal is not gonna hurt your economy that much. Okay, getting our build correctly, we also cannot forget about the flags. You really want the HP bonus flag, the fire duration flag, and the heal flag. Others are optional, but really handy. Okay, with the boring stuff behind us, let's go to actual gameplay. Stalingrad is really good at what it was designed to do, which is punish broadsides and be really hard to kill. What you want to do is always stay angled towards the enemy. You can find yourself an island to hide your sight from crossfires, for example, and you want to pick your nose. You don't really need to use all your guns, but you can swing them from time to time when you're, for example, pushing. You want to feel confident at shooting even the battleships, as your penetration allows you to citadel them at any range actually. It's very important for Stalingrad to actually mind where the destroyers are, as those are the ships that might kill you the fastest actually. Since Stalingrad doesn't have a hydroacoustic search available, you need to be wary about their position, as you're not gonna be able to spot their torpedoes. In terms of ammo choice, you borderline never switch to HE unless you're gonna shoot at a DD that you spotted with your radar. And that's basically the only situation when I think you should reload HE as Stalingrad. Stalingrad is almost never the one that should be played in the middle parts, like Yamato for example could. You want to be pushing a flank or stay defensive at the flank. You almost always want to pick one flank to actually go. Remember when how many times I repeated flank? Yes, because you should go to the flank. This way you can punish people that are in the middle and those that are trying to push this side of the map into you. Also, using that logic, you're not gonna have to worry about multiple angles at the same time. You're gonna be angled to one opponent that's in front of you and to the one that's kinda to the side. Using map border, you can actually eliminate the whole direction enemy shells or torpedoes can be coming from, making them much easier to dodge. Some would say that Stalingrad is really bad against aircraft carriers, but I don't really think so. Even though it is the only ship in the game that has a nerfed defensive AA, that actually gives less than any other defensive AA we have in the game, it lasts much longer for a price of having much longer cooldown, but that's the other thing. CVs really like to find Stalingrad and think it's an easy kill, but if you're doing your positioning right, you're gonna deplane them fairly easy. So do not worry that much about aircraft carrier drops, worry much more about enemy ships. They can hurt you much more. Okay guys, to make the best of it, I'm gonna give you an example of a game and I'm gonna analyze it with you. I spawned in the flank, so I went to the flank. I used my 12-kilometer radar to support our allies in the cap. And try to get some cross shots at enemy Colbert. Enemy Colbert went dark, but we've managed to kill a DD. This allowed me to start a little bit of a push, as I'm not gonna be in danger of being cross-topped. My first salvo at this Napoli was a little bit unfortunate, but the second and the third managed to secure the kill. Fight with a battleship was not really that long, as before I reloaded my another salvo he was already dead. After which I still tried to apply pressure by pushing further, still remaining at the flank though. Trying to find cross shots like this one to secure a kill or deal some more damage in the meantime. After sniping this cruiser, I've started to attract a little bit more attention from the enemy team. Once I saw this Kersage use his planes, I knew that he is not gonna be a direct danger with its guns for a little bit of time, so I had just the perfect amount of it to make this turn. After which I made another one to go bow in again, but this time a little bit closer to the border. Being in this position allowed me to get perfect crosses of the enemy team whilst not being in so much danger of drops from enemy CP. The range I kept between enemies allowed me to dodge their shells, while in the meantime I managed to dodge enemy aircraft carrier. The moment I got a little bit too close and I saw him being broadside, I decided it's a high time to actually kill it. Notice how I completely ignored dodging the first drop of the aircraft carrier torpedoes just so I can keep my angle to the enemy battleship. Enemy battleship can deal much more damage. This allowed me to secure the kill on a CV, dodge his second drop, and then kill enemy battleship as well. Being just one plane away from a defense expert is a little bit sad, but the result of the battle is still pretty good. In the end, I kinda want to say for who this ship actually is built for. This ship is built for those that like to be very durable, utilize great AP with amazing accuracy, and still have a little bit of a way out in terms of fighting enemy destroyers. If you find this as something that you really want to experience yourself, I highly suggest you buy Stalingrad. Okay guys, if you found this video useful to answer your questions about Stalingrad and what the ship is, what the ship does, and maybe it's gonna help you deal with it a little bit more as well, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. The comment section is yours if you have some more questions, and see you guys next time.